My name's Tim O'Neill, and I'd like to give you all a very warm welcome to the future of digital advertising. It's a really popular event on the AIMIA calendar, and we have about 130 people here today, so welcome. Really good to see such a fantastic turnout. So our first speaker for the day is Brent Clarke. Brent is the Managing Director of MRM Worldwide, who are a digital agency. They have 30 offices across 20 countries, and Brent's going to be talking about the death of digital, which is going to ruin the day, and we might as well just all go home. Hopefully he's going to have some highlights and some things that tell us about what the future of digital is, and please join me in welcoming Brent to the stage.
So we were joking just before when the screen went up, and it was a case of screen twos. You will have to go to RMIT over the road and look for retraining. But I think so MRM, McCann, we're part of IPG. We're a customer experience agency, and we're underpinned by data and technology. And I thought it was kind of fitting for us to share some trends that we feel are going to redefine digital as we know it. So it's not necessarily the death of, but it's the incarnation of what goes next. So the four trends that we're going to look at and how they're going to impact us in the 2020s, it's kind of born out the back of recently, or earlier this year, Mobile World Congress and CES. And for those of you, I guess, who've had the opportunity to go, you've had an amazing experience. But those who don't know, CES is, it used to be called the Consumer Electronics Show. It's held in Las Vegas. It's pretty epic. There's about 150,000 people attend from about 150 countries, 3,000 odd exhibitors, 300 sessions. So it's pretty huge. And the thing that's kind of been interesting for me is that I've always had my clients attending these events and bringing back some cool kit or some nice ideas or insights. And today's kind of no different, because even this week we've got a number of our clients over in Shanghai, Mobile Asia Expo's on. But the difference today, and it kind of stand out for me, is that my clients previously were all technology companies and they're exhibitors. Today they're everything from FMCG to insurance to finance. And the reason for that is because the job of marketing and communications has become so tightly connected to and impacted by technology. Okay, so some big stats to kick things off. So Ericsson back in 2011 forecasted that there'd be about 50 billion connected devices by 2020. Supporting that, just as another large number, there's about 2.1 billion mobile broadband subscriptions at the moment globally, and the growth is about 150 million a quarter. 75% of people in developed countries and 30% globally have got mobile broadband, and it's estimated to grow to about 90% in 4 years, which is staggering. And the thing that's actually fueling that growth is accessibility to smartphones. So earlier in the year at CES, you can actually get a device now in emerging markets for about $25 a unit. And that's what's kind of fueling that growth. So the takeaway from that is more that we need to move from understanding mobile as devices, but see them more as devices unlocking a person's mobility. And that's the true value of connectedness. So the first trend that we're going to talk about is new transactions, or what we kind of call new economies. And the definition of that is, through new platforms and the growing popularity of peer-to-peer sharing, people are realising their ability to create new value where transactions are becoming about more than just money. So I think it's, in this room we'd kind of call that a bit of a fair value exchange. And to kick things off, I'm going to share a video that's a DHL My Way app. It's a mobile app, and what it's there for is it facilitates what they call last mile delivery. And it's based out of Stockholm, so I'll let it do the talking.
This is Carolina. Carolina goes to university and loves to buy dresses. To finance them, she uses MyWays, the new last-mile delivery solution from DHL. This is Ola. Ola works at his job all day. He keeps rehearsing with his rock band every evening and dreams of becoming a rock star.
Oh, Ola!
As Ola rocked too hard, he needs a new set of guitar strings, which he orders from his favorite online store. Being so busy, he won't be able to pick up his parcel at the local service point. Instead, Ola uses MyWays. He simply selects DHL during the ordering process, and when he receives the tracking number, he can create a parcel. Now, the parcel can be delivered at any time to any place he wants. A Additionally, he can choose the amount of credits he would like to spend for this service. On her way home, Carolina checks how many MyWays parcels are on her route and simply reserves one. At the DHL service point, she only needs to show her ID to pick up the parcel. At the same time, Ola gets a notification that his new guitar strings are on the way. Now they can get in touch via the MyWays messenger. At the handover, Ola clicks the checkout button and his credits will be transferred to Carolina's account. The credits can be turned into cash at any time. A small transaction fee goes to MyWays to maintain the platform. Now, Carolina and Ola can evaluate each other, and Carolina can finally afford the new dress she saw online. With MyWays, you get to know all kinds of interesting people who maybe share the same interests. It's truly flexible, environmentally friendly, and a fun experience. MyWays, by the way.
So as you can see, with MyWays, it's obviously, quite a connected story, but I think things like this are happening around us every day, and this is kind of the new economies that are emerging. Airbnb is a great example. Airbnb took 4 years to serve their first 4 million guests, but in the 9 months post that 4 years, they served another 9 million guests. So you can see that there's a real appetite for this new economies. In terms of what's it going to do from a disruption factor, as brutal as it may sound, the challenge and the opportunity comes from understanding how we can create new economies or platforms from the ashes of our previous business models that we used to operate. Okay, so the next trend is the Remix revolution, and the definition that we've put around that is that customers are getting used to personalised products and services and finding like-minded people to create the perfect product. Remixing existing products to give exclusive editions is getting easier as low-volume manufacturing becomes cheaper, and acknowledging that there is a niche is growing means that large-scale manufacturers or mass-produced items need to also come to the table, so provide that similar capability. Just a quick show of hands for who's actually supported a Kickstarter project in the last year. So it's quite a few. How about shopped on Etsy? Yeah, awesome. So you're not alone. Etsy last year sold more than $1 billion in merchandise, and that was all just before Christmas. So what that looks like from a disruption point of view is that we're getting to a point where pre-tailing through crowdfunding and manufacturing through even things like 3D printers and even artisanal manufacturers will definitely find growth. Okay, the third trend is TV reborn, and I think it's a bit of a compliment for TV is that ubiquity is often the best sign of success in technology, and I think this one kind of stands clear. So as streaming services become normal, the way we interact with video content is definitely a tipping point. So set free from the usual tech constraints and becoming real-time, interactive and social. Netflix is a fantastic example of this. So what Netflix actually did with House of Cards, they operated on a principle of give people what they want, when they want it, in the form they want it, and at a reasonable price. And I guess there was a lot of skepticism at the time from the networks, but it's gone in their favour. So in the US, more people now subscribe to Netflix than HBO. So there's about 30 million people in the US that are actually signed up for a $7.99 a month account just to stream movies, docos, TV shows. The next one's a little bit closer to home, so these are my kids. And I think that they're kind of inspiration for me when we're looking to the 2020s. So my daughter doesn't know the difference of what TV is. She knows content, she knows entertainment, she knows stories. And she's of the generation where it's all about my terms, my time frame. So my terms is about devices. So she's on an iPad here. She's got my 9-month-old next to her, showing him how to do it. But even when I ask her if she wants to watch a movie, it's just a case of, do you want to watch on the iPhone, do you want to watch on the iPad, or do you want to watch on TV? And she's just so used to that construct that she just determines how she wants to consume her content. And I think the opportunity for us in the room is looking at those states of mind of when they're consuming content, so we can look at whether it's a long or short version, what the device is, what's the time of day, what's their location, and then it's about us being actually clever in our targeting to actually add value at each of those connection points. So with that, in terms of how it'll cause disruption, people aren't going to stop paying for content. But the emphasis is, as highlighted with House of Cards, it's got to be content that they love. So a global audience now allows niche content to be created profitably. But the question is, I guess, where's that opportunity for advertising? And may well be that it's potentially branded access. Not sure. I think we're yet to see at this stage. Okay, so this is the final trend that I'm going to put forward, which is about invisible interfaces, and it's something that I guess I'm pretty passionate about. So the definition is that wearable computing devices are breaking out beyond sports and wellness wristbands to devices that can be integrated into all things. So this is suggesting a future essentially where actions and tasks can be performed without having to hold your mobile phone, and our bodies are becoming the interface, which is a pretty cool concept. The next example that I'm going to show you a quick video of is a product that I got interested in last year when they were looking for some funding. And it's such a simple, concept, and probably everyone in the room owns this next device, and it's sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. But with a simple twist, they've made it compelling, and I think will have global implications.
This is the world's smartest thermometer. It tells you how to avoid getting ill or get better faster if you are.
My 5-year-old Nathan isn't feeling well, so I'm going to take his temperature.
By using the power of your smartphone, we've minimized the electronics inside. There are no batteries, processor, or LCD. This allows it to be thin, flexible, and comfortable to use, especially for children.
Nathan's temperature's okay, but he's been complaining of a sore throat. With a few simple taps, I can track his symptoms over time and share them with our pediatrician. And since he probably got sick from one of his friends, I'm checking the health of his school to see what he might have.
So the thing that I forgot to mention on that as well is that they are available today. They're operating in the US. They're $25. So I think it's a pretty powerful proposition in terms of actually reframing something that we've had access to for however long, but it's actually just empowering us as a community to be able to make more informed decisions. Okay, the next one, and this is something that is a reality. So this is a contact lens. It's being developed by Google X team at the moment. It actually started development back in 2011 again. It will be launched by 2020. And it initially actually kicked off Microsoft, launched this development project, and Google took it over a few years ago. It's a contact lens for diabetics. And the power of something like this is that you can actually put it in as a diabetic, and it's giving you real-time data on your glucose levels, which sounds a bit, a little bit far-fetched, but I am a diabetic, and by the time this launches, I calculated I would have pricked my finger about 50,000 times, and tested it on a blood glucose meter. So that's a rapid shift, for younger people coming through. And I think that the benefit, other than just the inconvenience factor, is this gives you a real-time read on your health, and it allows you to trim your medicines. So this is just one application. So that we can obviously, all live longer and, reduce our risk of other illness. And the way it actually works is it's actually analysing your tears. So it's actually forever just analysing tear data and telling you what the blood glucose is within those tears. So as the reliance on these connected devices in our daily lives, data is the thing that's actually crucial. And the thing with the data is that it needs to be actionable so that we can invoke some behavioural change, and whether that be through platform or service experience. So as we've seen through each of those 4 trends, technology is empowering people in new and exciting ways. And also in turn, it's disrupting businesses and industries, or business models rather. So as we move to a more connected future, it's important to realise the potential and plan accordingly, but not at the risk of your existing strategies. And I think Mark Pitchard from P&G kind of sums it up well. So he's argued that digital technology enabled brands to reach people and capture consumer imaginations in new ways. But we can only do that if we have this one component that has been constant since the beginning of brand building, which is an idea. So it's, let's not lose sight and trace technology for the sake of it. So in terms of just wrapping up, what's next? Invest in understanding our digital lives. It's not that crazy an idea these days if you really want to immerse yourself in what a digital life looks like to attend a tech event. Don't lose sight of storytelling. I think as we've seen, businesses are becoming more complex. We've got richer data sets, and advertising is going to have to work a lot harder. So don't lose sight of storytelling. Due to the nature of, I guess, the jobs that we're all in, we're generally framed in either analogue or digital skill sets. But rather than focusing on the outputs, I think it's about contextualising and tailoring products and services with the data that we've got. Finally, develop a data strategy supporting our connected obsession that we've all got, but ensure that it's actionable to actually reinforce that behavioural change. And there's one last thing I'll leave you with. There's a Chinese proverb that goes along the lines of the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is to do it today. So if you don't currently have your data strategy in place, maybe today's the time to actually start to question it and put something in place. So thank you.